Good morning to everyone. Welcome to Southwest Flavor. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Today we are sitting down with Tony from Steamy Concepts. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Yeah, good. I mean, it's been a long time since we've caught up.
I know it has.
Yeah,
Too long.
we used to see each other, out and about at all the networking events, and then you took a different position.
Correct. Yeah.
And now you're stuck in the office most of the time.
Boo. I started out with the company with marketing, so at that time I was out and about and hitting the street, shaking hands.
Yeah.
And then I became director of operations now, so it's a lot of oversight. And
oh man,
we joked earlier, putting out fires.
Yeah. Yep. And you guys deal with so much insurance. I'm sure that probably takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's gotten harder over the years.
Yeah.
I've been in the business now about 6 years. I'll be coming up on 6 years in October, and it's really changed. You know, and there's many reasons why, and a gamut of excuses and things and whatnot. But really, it's just it's documentation and everything has to be
kind of in line.
If there's no picture of it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of problem solving and making sure we did what we have to do.
Right. That's what we've found in our profession, doing the HVAC and the plumbing, is just pictures. And even if you can maybe take a picture with someone in it also, and kind of have that timestamp and have the, that your people were there and that's actually the house,
Correct.
And all that stuff.
I've literally had an adjuster say, prove that that's the house you're at, which is crazy to me because obviously we have no reason to lie or to misguide. But really videos nowadays too, technology's made it a little easier. Videos. I have my guys, if we're going to do a mold swab, for example, hey, turn the camera on, say, hey, this is Tony with Steamy Concepts. I'm here at Mrs. Smith's 123 whatever street. I'm going to be doing a mold swab. Here's the kitchen that we're in.
Oh, wow.
And really, because then there's no, we're not trying to mislead. So it's, hey, this is the facts. Here's where we are.
Yeah.
And here's the proof of why we did it.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about Steamy Concepts for anyone that doesn't know about them.
We locally owned and operated for 27 years now. We started out, obviously carpet and tile and upholstery, as most people recognize the name.
Right.
I'm in the director of operations of the water mitigation department. So we handle water, mold, fire, asbestos,
all the
lead,
fun stuff.
all the fun, the dirty, the nitty gritty. And that department started, shortly after the carpet department because they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we just ran with it ever since.
Wow. Okay.
And then obviously we have our repair and reconstruction side. That's Royalty Renovation. That's our sister company.
Okay.
So we can handle anything from, removing everything to putting everything back together.
Yeah.
We've rebuilt a whole house almost from the ground up, on some of our fire projects and things like that.
Wow.
So we can do a little bit of everything. And I still feel like I still learn something new every day that we can and can't do.
Yeah. So if you have someone has a flooded home, maybe overnight, and I've seen this actually happen several times, overnight, the washer hose bursts and everyone's asleep. No one knows. They wake up and there's 3 inches of water in their whole house, especially if it's like a 2-story house, and it's downstairs, they don't even know it's happening. Tell us a little bit about that process. So I'm a homeowner. I wake up 6 a.m. and my bottom floor is 3 inches covered with water.
Yeah. And I mean, in small or big, any amount of water, we always want to address as fast as possible. But especially when it comes to a large loss like that, time is of the essence. Mold and microbial growth can start growing in as little as 24 to 48 hours, and even faster if the conditions are right.
Yeah.
So really, step one is get us on the horn. We're on call 24/7, 365 days a year. So whether it's Christmas Day, unfortunately, that's probably the worst way to wake up on Christmas.
Emergencies happen 24/7.
Yeah, water doesn't wait for anyone. That's literally what I tell people. It won't wait. It's merciless. So, get us on the horn. We'll have someone there in under an hour with an extraction van. Step one would be to mitigate the damage and try to prevent it from getting worse. So typically we'd start with an extraction and setting dehumidifiers to control the environment, and then coming up with a game plan with our homeowner that makes the most sense for one, make it quick and easy on them.
Right.
And then also for the insurance purposes, what do we need to do to document, like we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
It will literally be taking pictures of every affected area top to bottom. And then getting equipment in there as fast as possible in regards to air movers, like I said, with the dehumidifiers, and begin whatever demo is necessary to mitigate that loss and begin the water mitigation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you want to dry that out as quickly as possible,
Correct.
like you said.
Yeah, most people think, well, I'll call my insurance first, and then, which is nothing wrong with that. But by the time you call your insurance, by the time they respond, by the time they send out whoever's on their list, that could be hours.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in a busier time of the year, we are under an hour response time 99.9% of the time or faster.
Right.
I have project managers all over town. So on a project like that, it's all hands on deck. Who can get there the fastest with the most amount of equipment and get our team dispatched as quick as possible. So
right.
There's nothing wrong with calling your insurance first, but who's going to get there the fastest because time is of the essence. Yeah. And then let us handle calling your insurance for you and doing the talking and make it even easier on you. I think most people get so, the scary part is, oh no, what am I going to say? And no, we'll do that. We'll do that for you. That's what we do all day, every day. Most people have never dealt with a water loss in their life.
Not at all.
I'd be surprised. Most homeowners, I mean, I would say 80% of my homeowners have probably never dealt with one.
Yeah.
So let us do the legwork. The best compliment I think I've ever gotten in my career doing this was, I was so worried until you walked in the door.
Okay.
And then I knew everything would be okay. And that's literally like, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Walking into someone's home.
Right. And you guys know more of what to look for.
Correct.
I mean, if there's water over here, you guys know that surrounding in that room, if water has touched the other places, that, the drywall could be affected and the carpet can be affected and all those different things that the homeowner might not even think about.
Correct. And I love the common misconception, it doesn't look wet, and then it doesn't feel wet. Well, it's not going to feel wet to the touch. That's why we have the tools, the equipment necessary to, for one, assess it properly and find out what actually is wet. Because I promise you, as a professional, I can't tell by touching a wall. And I've touched thousands of square feet of drywall in my years. Yeah. But just by touch, no one can tell. So that's why we have moisture meters and thermal cameras and things for. And what looked like not a lot of water on the ground within 6 to 8 hours could be a foot up, wicked up the wall, soaked up the drywall.
Yeah, that drywall just sucks it up.
It's like a sponge.
Yeah.
So, it's like, it's so easy to brush it off as not a big deal. And, I always kind of like, smoking, people used to think smoking wasn't bad for you, 100 years ago.
Right.
And that's kind of how it was with mold. And, I'm kind of a nerd about that stuff, and I've enjoyed reading about it. And I mean, mold is bad for you. That's not,
it's really bad for you. Yeah.
I don't like to fearmonger or scare people. It's not who I am as a person. But, if you're sensitive to mold and allergens, my partner's grandma was, that they think that's what could have led to her lung cancer. Really, that's what they told her. So, it's a serious thing for me. So, mold research has really developed this last 10 years, but, 30, 40 years ago, I mean, maybe when you tell me when you were younger too, it was like,
I don't think we ever heard about it.
No one even
any
talked
kind
about
of,
it. Yeah. And it's always been there. It's not like it just came around.
Yeah. Mold's not a new thing.
I have some older, some of my older homeowners, they're like, what's a little bit of mold? And then, but that could be getting you sick that most people don't even realize.
Right.
So I take it very seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. You could develop some lung issues or some different things. Or if you have young kids or really elderly people in the home, they could be more sensitive.
Absolutely, 100%. And that, and again, that's facts. I always say, I'm not a doctor, and we're not doctors, so I'm not gonna.
You can't do a diagnosis on their health,
but if you've got, you keep getting coughs and sick all the time for no reason, you can't figure out why. It could be an underlying issue you don't know about. Yeah. So, that's why when there's a fresh loss, we know it just happened. We know it. The flood happened this morning. Well, let's just prevent it from getting to that mold stage.
Yeah.
Because that first 24 hours is absolutely critical to preventing it. So why even worry about the mold? Right. If we can prevent it from happening. That's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're also talking about, you mentioned the word lead.
Yes.
And I think that's important that, when you're working in an older home, there could be lead paint, there could be some asbestos, there could be some different things. If you don't have a qualified person coming in there and doing your renovation, you could get all that stuff into your Airstream.
Absolutely. So Tucson, I mean, it's an old town, right? So Tucson was established, 150 plus years ago.
Right.
Well, I will tell you on the east side of Tucson specifically, but kind of in pockets all over Tucson, there's neighborhoods. I'm like, there's asbestos in every house in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Because of the age.
The area, and how many houses we've worked on, at Steamy, I just can kind of tell based on the pockets of town.
Yeah.
We test anything pre-1980 or before to be safe, and that's both to protect our staff and our homeowners and our clients.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. Everyone wants things to be as cost efficient as possible,
right? And quick and easy, but it's not always quick and easy. Yeah.
And anyone can cut a piece of drywall. That's the easy part. But are they qualified to handle it if it is mold or asbestos or lead? That's the key. My son could cut a piece of drywall, but I wouldn't want him doing it. But at the end of the day, yes, you have to test and you have to be safe because asbestos in your home inherently is fine until it's disturbed,
right?
And lead. And asbestos are a very real thing here in Tucson. It's there's newer areas of town. Obviously, it's a little different, but this town has a rich history, which is an awesome thing. But you'd be surprised how many many houses we run into with asbestos. I would say, give or take half of the houses pre-1980 we test come up positive for lead or asbestos containing is a better word to use.
Yeah. And your guys are all certified in that to contain it.
Yes. Yeah. So our team is they're all asbestos contractor supervisors, are asbestos technicians that do the removal. So there's certain protocols they have to follow.
Yeah.
All our management staff are building inspectors, so we can.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's a certified building inspector, so we can test for lead or asbestos.
Okay.
How to do it safely and how to prevent cross contamination and things like that. So we test any house, like I said, 1980 or before, if we're going to be removing material. And that could be as simple as, hey, we had to do an emergency repair and there's an open hole in the wall.
Right.
Well, we shouldn't be putting fans on that or air movers on that because that could be blowing asbestos around. We don't even know.
Okay.
And you have someone that doesn't have that experience or forethought or knowledge.
I didn't think about that,
And you're cross-contaminating their house right then and there. So it's something to be mindful of in older homes. But yes, our team is certified for that. My management staff is trained in how to handle those situations. So it's really about sticking to a plan, coming up with a game plan on day one and sticking to it.
Yeah.
The fun part of this job for me, honestly, is no job is the same.
That's right.
Every homeowner is different. Every house is different. Every water
situation.
Loss, every situation is, I learn something new every day with this job. And that's something I enjoy about it because
I'm pretty
good at what I do, but there's always something new. I'm like, hey, this is interesting.
a little bit different.
And then I get to pass that knowledge on to my guys and my staff, and it's exciting. And being the best at what we do, you're constantly learning. You have to.
Okay. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's take a quick sponsor break, and we will be back in just a couple minutes with Southwest Flavor.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Spring is here and the hot summer temperatures are not far away. Your air conditioning system is one of the biggest expenses in your house. Maintaining your air conditioner is critical to keeping you cool all summer long. Protect your investment by calling Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com for fast, friendly, and professional service you deserve.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
Welcome back to Southwest Flavor. You can catch us every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. We're talking with Tony from Steamy Concepts. So you said you've been with Steamy for about 6 years. What brought you to Steamy?
So it's actually a kind of cool story, something I'm proud of. So I'll be 6 years in October, and I remember because I started on my brother's birthday. So I have an easy remember date.
You have that landmark.
Yeah, that landmark. Yep. Yeah, I can't forget it. So thanks, bro, for that. So my background is sales. I sold cars my whole adult life.
Oh, wow.
That's always been my thing. It's always been what I'm good at.
I think you told me that one time. Yeah.
And it's, it's funny. It's like the old school car sales guy. It was like, hey, the wheel and deal kind of thing. It's just not me. I'm like the complete opposite of that. So it's funny because I realized I was good at it because I could just connect to people. Mm-hmm. So my theory was, if you like me, we get along. I'm going to take care of you. I give you a fair price.
Yeah.
And a good product. Why would you go anywhere else? That's kind of how I approach sales in general.
Yeah.
And it's worked for me pretty well because I feel like I can apply that to sales or whatever it is.
Yeah.
In any capacity because it makes sense.
Right.
Everyone just wants a guy. That's why, that's what I tell my marketing guys now. They just want a guy.
They do.
They want one guy to call when there's a problem, when there's an issue.
Yeah.
They know you're going to handle it because no one's perfect. And we're going to make mistakes. Everyone's going to make mistakes.
Sure.
But it's how you respond to those, how you make it right is what's going to keep you in business.
Yeah.
Because none of us are perfect.
And this is a referral town. It really 100%. Is. Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
When I moved to Tucson, I'm like, how the heck does everybody know everybody? Anyway, so I sold cars. I was working at Mercedes at the time.
Oh,
and I really, my son was young. He wasn't even a year old. And the car business is a grind. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's long days,
hours.
And there's really no days off. It was every weekend. And there was days I would leave and he'd be sleeping, and I'd come home and he'd be sleeping. And I just realized it wasn't the life I really wanted to
for
live.
A young family. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
And talking to the older guys, at the dealership that I've been doing a long time, their biggest regrets were missing their kids' plays, their ball games. I distinctly remember one guy telling me, all my daughter remembers is me sneaking into her plays late. And I was like, I just can't. That's not for me, Ron. I was like, that's just not for me.
Right.
So I kept putting it out in the university, but at the time, my son's mom wasn't working and I was the provider. So, you do what you got to do, right?
Right,
exactly. We can't just put our feet up. And Matt and Lori walked in, the owners of Steamy, and they walked in and wanted to buy a car. And I happened to be the person to start talking to them. And they actually had asked, this is a detailed story because I think it's so cool how all the stars aligned, but they had asked for another salesman.
Oh,
but that salesman was like my mentor. He had took me under his wing because he was an older guy who was ready to step back.
Yeah. Did they already know the other salesman?
Yeah, they asked for him, but I took all of his clients when he wasn't there because he knew I would take care of them.
Okay.
So not only did they not ask for me by chance, it just happened to be me.
Yeah.
They asked for him while I was the one talking to him. And it's funny because his last name, that salesman, was Tom Chance. So it's just by chance, Anyway, so we got along. We ended up ordering a vehicle. And, I always answered my phone, took good care of them, just did my thing. And they came to pick up the car and I made a joke. so you guys got a job for me or what? And because I could tell I really liked them. I really liked their energy, and I was
just the way they treated you and the way they talked to you and everything.
Yeah, and clearly they were successful, and clearly they had a great local business.
Right.
Because obviously I knew who Steamy was, and I didn't really know the potential I'd have there, but I'm not one to stray away from opportunity, and at least a conversation.
Yeah. Sure.
So they, I distinctly remember Lori busting out laughing and saying, like, Matt would love to have you. And he was like, "Are you serious? You seem happy here."
Uh-huh.
Like, well, happy is one word, but not to say I wouldn't want to look for opportunity elsewhere.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, when do you want to come in and chat?" And I said, "Tomorrow." Literally, I went in, this was a Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
Went in there Wednesday, and then I started the following week.
Oh, wow.
Never looked back.
Okay. Fantastic.
So worked up to, position I'm in now. And
yeah.
Kind of funny, Matt says he won't, he didn't admit it back then, but he's like, I saw this position for you and I didn't realize it at the time. So
okay.
Pretty cool. It reminds me who I work for, and I wear the shirt with a lot of pride, and there's not a lot of people that do that
right
nowadays. And I don't expect my staff to care as much as I do, because that's a tall ask.
Yeah.
But I expect everyone to show up and do their job with pride and communicate and be honest and work hard. Right. That's the basics.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because you're the one that's hiring employees and interviewing them and everything. And we talked a little bit about that off air. Just when you're looking for the next employee, and you already have your culture set. Mm-hmm. So what are you looking for when you're potentially talking to maybe a future employee?
We joked a little bit off about how hard it is right now, but really, we drug test every employee. That includes marijuana. We do background checks on every employee, and you have to have a valid driver's license with hopefully a somewhat clean driving record. We understand, but
yeah.
Why do we do those things? Because we go into people's home.
Yes.
We go into people's homes. We care. And
you could go into grandma's home or, your sister's home.
I want to trust my staff.
And
I do. And I do. And there's, everyone has a past and everyone's made mistakes, and we're not looking to harbor those or make them a problem, but we just want to be transparent. Yeah. And we advertise those things, and you know that feeling. So we want to be confident in our staff, but we also want hardworking people that are honest and communicate. And I don't need experience. I can teach people restoration. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. Now there is a lot to it, but it's not
right.
It's not that complicated. I couldn't teach somebody, but I can't teach you to work hard. I can't teach you to care. I can't teach you to show up and want to do better. And those are the basics.
Yeah.
And nothing, nothing would impress me more than someone that is there early every day and hungry and motivated and doesn't give me excuses and just communicates. Because I feel like we're probably the easiest company to work for. There's a lot of stuff I wouldn't have gotten away with jobs in the past that, we're pretty lenient with. But I just need communication, and I just want some honesty.
Huge. Yeah.
Just be honest with me, and I'll work with you. We're pretty, we're all human.
Yeah.
And I treat my staff how I'd want to be treated. So, if there's people listening looking for employment, that might be interested in a new trade, call the office or to pop in and ask. I'm there most days and ask to talk to me, and I'd love to sit down and chat with anyone for an opportunity.
That's cool.
Especially coming up on monsoon season, right before our busy season.
Yeah.
I'd love to add a few members to our staff right now. So if any of those things I said, strike anyone listening, please come in and let's have a conversation. Don't need an appointment. Just come say hi.
Okay. I mean, that's great, because like you said, you can be trained in all this stuff. And I'm sure you guys have a process, from beginning to end of just training from the ground up, what you need to do, what you need to look for, gain the certifications, all that.
And you're going to sweat through it too.
Oh yeah. It's a manual labor job. It is. And, you're going to be in some hot houses and some hot, humid houses and doing some different stuff, but it's rewarding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a good way to lose some weight too. we have a running joke, I know our guys that switch to management staff. I'm like, you guys got to stay in the gym because you're not out there sweating, sweating the same.
So tell us one more time how people get hold of you not only for employment opportunities, but also for the services. If you need restoration services or if you need carpet cleaning.
Yeah, SteamyConcepts.com. SteamyConcepts.com is definitely the best. There's live chat on there for the carpet and cleaning and stuff like that. You can put in a lead portal directly, even if it's not an emergency and you just want to schedule. We do free visual inspections and free estimates. Okay. So that's for the mold and water damage. So if you've got a lingering issue, you've kind of been putting off, let us come out and do a free inspection, free estimate. Doesn't cost you $1.
Okay.
Then you call our main line, the 520-903-1200. That's our main water damage number. Set up a free estimate. We do estimates Monday through Friday, anytime. So we do offer financing and things like that as well. Easy payment options.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other restoration company that does that.
Yeah, I didn't know that you guys did that.
Yeah. And it's things like 12 months, same as cash. So it's not even like, oh my gosh, this big scary thing.
Yeah.
We can help you deal with your mold issue, keep your costs down, and you don't have to worry about the big lingering, financing as well if that's the route you want to go.
Yeah.
So SteamyConcepts.com, our main office number. We're available 24. Someone answers that phone 24/7, and if they don't answer, it goes to me. So,
so they better answer.
And if I don't answer, it goes to Matt. So, so someone's answering that phone. But we're always available to help.
Okay, awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, this was awesome. Yeah.
All right, we will be back in just a couple minutes with Southwest Flavor.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
My heat and air work in a state of disrepair.
Spring is here and the hot summer temperatures are not far away. Your air conditioning system is one of the biggest expenses in your house. Maintaining your air conditioner is critical to keeping you cool all summer long. Protect your investment by calling Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com for fast, friendly, and professional service you deserve.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor. Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
right, welcome back to Southwest Flavor. We're talking with a couple of our guests that are with Bayada Home Health Services. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
All right. My name's Lacey Shirky. I'm the clinical educator for Bayada Home Health Care Skilled Nursing. And this is my director, Shana Kolman.
Shana Kolman, director of Bayada Home Health Care, Tucson Skilled.
Okay.
We represent the long-term skilled nursing side of in-home care for Bayada.
Aha, okay. Mm-hmm. Very cool. I don't know. It seems like I'm running into so many different health cares for seniors. Our population overall is just getting older. And that was actually a conversation I had with my youngest son yesterday, because we were talking about how his generation, they're just not having kids. It's like the population's not replenishing, and our population's just getting older.
That's really wild, because I was having the exact same conversation with my son.
Really?
Yes.
Bring your mic a little bit closer.
The exact same conversation with my son. I think we were talking about Mother's Day, as a matter of
fact.
Oh,
really?
Yes. And he was saying, "Mom, don't you think we need to be having more kids? They're saying my generation, we're not having kids young enough, and we're not having enough kids anymore." Yeah. And I'm like, well, baby, we're in the, you're talking to Mom and what I do, and, in healthcare, and we're looking at that demographic shift right now with the baby boomers.
Yeah.
And when we did it a little. So, but yeah, that's the struggle as we're easing back and having babies now. We have a workforce shortage. Yeah. Yes, on the senior side and caregiving, and on the nursing side as well, both. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the nursing side, it seems like there's always a shortage. I mean, for as long as I can remember, it just they always need nurses everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, COVID didn't help. COVID didn't help either.
No, I think the nurses really got overworked and overstressed during COVID.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. There's still a lot of, and Lacey could speak to that in the stories that she hears, as Lacey does all of our training for our new graduates that are coming out of college, and this is their first nursing job. Very cool. And then as we onboard nurses, and she gets the stories, and Lacey's a nurse herself. I am not by trade a nurse. Not that cool is my joke. Just not that cool. But Lacey gets she gets to hear the bonding stories about, because she's been in the hospitals, and then coming out of it and hearing the stories of nurses that went through COVID in the hospital. And it's fortunate for us in the respect that we get to be a very comforting place to come after experiencing what they went through. But obviously nobody wants to see the trauma that are here. Yeah.
Lots of trauma.
Yeah.
Lots of trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a rough time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I've heard stories about just how much they worked, and then of course you lose, you lose people too.
Yep.
Especially in the hospital setting, or if you're in a senior setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few nurses who've come to us and said they were ready to quit nursing.
Yeah.
Being in the hospital during COVID, and they refound nursing coming with us. So
very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about that. Tell some stories or some testimonials.
Yeah. So basically, currently with our workforce that's coming out of nursing school and into our line of work. Typically, we get the people who are looking more for like a flexible schedule, more support than a hospital would give.
Okay.
One-to-one patient care, making a difference in somebody's life, and feeling like you made a difference in somebody's life every day that you leave work. So thankfully in home health care, you get one patient and spend 8-12 hours with them. So you really do feel like you made a difference in their life, because you're able to focus on one person specifically. So anybody who's kind of scared to go into that hospital setting, if they can find us, then it's not as terrifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you get some real life experience too with it.
Oh, absolutely. You get top of your license.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell us about so when people need services, what does that look like?
I'll let you answer that.
Gosh, it kind of depends on what we refer to them as practice lines, which practice line, which service line.
Okay.
The consumer, client, we refer to them as client, not as patient, but client, what service line they're in need of. If it's senior care services, kind of a geriatric, what we refer to, as assisted care services.
Assisted care, okay.
Yeah, helping mom and dad with keeping refrigerator stocked and meals prepped, making sure errands are run, companionship from light companionship all the way through to full assistance with dementia care and
bathing, dressing, grooming.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And that's generally speaking in that scenario, it's the child, it's the adult child that's reaching out to us. It's rarely ever the mom or dad themselves that looks for the help. Sometimes, every once in a while, we do. We have folks that will.
Right. I'm sure it's hard though. I mean, you've lived all your life. You're independent, and now maybe you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s. And you're not able to do the daily things that you used to be able to do, or you're forgetting to take your medication, you're forgetting to eat, or stuff like that.
Right.
Simple things that we take for granted.
Absolutely, it's a tough thing to admit, and it's it's a tough thing to ask for help as well, and it usually is kind of that adult child, and sometimes the child that's removed, is chatting with mom or dad on the phone. They're in for a visit on vacation or during a holiday or a celebration, and they go, "Oh wow,
yeah, I didn't know the house was this way," or
yeah, absolutely.
I would say we get a big boost in clients in that specific department after a holiday when somebody's come to town to see mom and dad and realize how bad it's gone.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our the senior side of what we do, that assisted side. The home health side with our nursing, there's more than two actually. But we have hospice services in Tucson as well. We launched our hospice line in January of 2024. January 1, I believe, was our official.
Is that home hospice or?
It is home hospice. Okay. Yes. Really, really excited to launch that service that Bayada's been in Tucson for 27 years, I believe now. 28
Oh wow! Okay.
Years, yeah. It just celebrated our 50th anniversary nationally since the founding of the company, but 26 or 27 of those in Tucson. And the hospice was the fourth service line that we were able to launch here. So we have our assisted care practice, we have our hospice practice, we have our home health practice, which does really kind of that post-hospital nursing visit to make sure as you're recovering, PT, OT, ST, physical therapies, occupational, when someone's rehabbing, just coming home after a long hospital stay, it's a visit nursing type service. And then there's what Lacey and I do each day, and that's long-term nurse. And I'm sorry to back to where do our clients come from in those scenarios? Hospice is usually a referral from a medical professional, a doctor that said there's a terminal diagnosis.
Right.
And then we generally are referred in that way. And of course, there are multiple sources, but across case managers and hospitals and from facilities. Our home health, primarily the same from folks are coming out of the hospital and they're being referred, sometimes from physicians' offices. When we've got folks that are rehabbing and they need that outpatient therapy that's done at home.
Yeah.
And then our services, the long-term care nursing services, skilled nursing, is round the clock. And we are shift nursing is the difference in what we do. So versus a nurse that stops in and spends 45 minutes to an hour dressing wounds, checking, assessing, administering medication, things of that nature. We're there around the clock as a primary caregiver, and our client has across the spectrum age and diagnoses, anywhere from micro preemies that have come home, and we're in a home ICU type service setting, and we're supporting mom and dad with a baby that has a trach and a vent and ostomies, tubes, things of that nature. So it's critical care, but stable. Critical care done at home rather than an institution, because the stats just bear out it's always best to heal at home. It just is.
It is. Yeah. Everyone's more comfortable there.
Absolutely.
It's home.
It's home.
Yeah, exactly.
You just can't say it any better. It's home. You're gonna do better, and you're gonna be surrounded by that support system too, that love that you need, and that support, even your puppies and your kitties, just everything.
Yeah. I had no idea that for like a young child, a baby or something, that you could bring them home and have that care.
So many people don't. And that's, Lacey and I are forever on a mission. That's I keep giggling about this being our year of just going out and spreading more of the message about what we do. Yes, that's even an option. When we launched our residency line it's been 2.5, almost 3 years now, hasn't it? Our new grad residency line, that really opened up a whole new, we used to require 1 year. 1 year of experience in home care before you could provide one-to-one care. And it really did, limit our options.
Sure, I bet. Yeah,
and limited our nurses coming out of school. And we kept talking about like, oh gosh, if we could avoid the hospital trauma that was going on during COVID, if we could bring them to us first, so that folks don't get turned away from nursing immediately. We heard so many times, like Lacey said over and over, I'd really lost my passion for nursing. It just I wanted out of it badly, and being able to do the one-to-one care brought it back again. And discovering that you did this, it's wild to us how many folks in our own profession, in our own setting, don't know it's an option.
Yeah.
To bring baby home with that support. The only thing that's missing are the nurses. We just need the nurses. The training and the teaching and the support is there, and the babies and across all subset. We stopped at the babies, but Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. Our folks have ALS, muscular dystrophy. Lacey chime in, my nurse, because I forget cerebral palsy.
Traumatic brain injury, anoxic brain injury, spinal cord injury. Pretty much anything that requires long-term nursing. So probably the rest of their life nursing.
Wow.
Excuse me. Yeah. I like to say anyone that you would traditionally have seen in a institutionalized setting, in your head, you would picture in what we used to think was the only way. We do that. We get to go home and do that. All we need is the nurse to do it. So that's the nursing that Lacey and I, that's the operations that we get to facilitate each day. So
it's fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, beyond. One of our catchphrases at Bayada is we love what we do, and it's just not a catchphrase, not a tagline. It truly is.
It really is. You have to. Yeah.
Oh,
you
gosh.
definitely have to.
It's a calling. It's a calling. Yeah. Very fulfilling.
Well, with that, let's take a quick sponsor break, and we will be right back with Southwest Flavor.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
Spring is here and the hot summer temperatures are not far away. Your air conditioning system is one of the biggest expenses in your house. Maintaining your air conditioner is critical to keeping you cool all summer long. Protect your investment by calling Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com for fast, friendly, and professional service you deserve. Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor. Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
Welcome back to Southwest Flavor. We're talking with Bayada Home Health Services. And something that's really, I think it's original to the home health services is you guys are a nonprofit.
Yes, incredibly unique. In fact, I think we stand alone in that respect across the board. We are a nonprofit. And it's such an incredible story. Our founder, Mark Bayada, we were established as a for-profit in 1975.
Okay.
With $16,000. He launched the business, $16,000 in a vision. So
probably his life savings at the time.
His life savings, yes, everything. And he just super, super cool story. Had a vision to just serve. If there is a servant heart on this planet, it is Mark Bayada's.
And where was that at?
That was in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, okay.
Yes, where we are still headquartered. In 2019, fast forward to 2019, Mark was ready to, and I always have to do the air quotes, retire, because he will never stop. He's incredible. The passion just, it's just unbelievable. But he wanted to seal his legacy, wanted to make sure that what he had founded and what he had, our mission to serve and to serve millions worldwide is our mission, wasn't, as we talked about, demographically speaking, big business. Yeah. What he didn't want was us to become big business and get gobbled up, mergers and acquisitions. Yeah. He really wants our culture to live on, and our mission to live on truly. So his decision was to gift the company. He founded a nonprofit and gave it away.
Wow.
Which is entirely unique. Yeah. Yes. And standalone. And I'm so proud to get to tell that story and tell about who we are, because that was very much the definition of putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, it is.
Really incredible. So his son, David Bayada, leads the company today, and Mark sits on the board.
Okay.
There's a board that steers us and makes sure we stay on mission. So I tease, that he's retired, but not. He definitely makes sure that we stay on track and follow our true north, which is service. Yeah. So one of the cool things I want Lacey to talk about is our new grad program. We had kind of talked about that being born around COVID time.
Okay.
Born and launched, which was also around the time we transitioned to a nonprofit.
Right, yeah. COVID was right after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the really cool programs that we got to as a nonprofit, we get to take money and reinvest to make sure we stand on legacy and mission and make sure we're investing in future workforce, which was the new grad program, and more programs to serve those traumatic brain injury, those NICU babies, and so on. So, Lacey.
Yeah, so our nurse residency program, it's an 8-week program. It helps nurses transition from school life to real world nursing.
Okay.
So it's, it's comprised of being in the home with a patient and a precepting nurse, actually providing care to one of our clients. 1 day a week they're in the sim lab with me. We're running emergency scenarios, what to do when something happens in the home. You're by yourself, so, what do you do for that situation? And then they also attend a class within Bayada that's offered, whatever cohort they're in cohorts with people from all over the United States. So they kind of get to hear different stories based on, other people's experiences as well. So,
right. So they get to learn from other people's experiences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So, the service that we provide here in Tucson is going to be similar. It may be in Philadelphia, but maybe not the same. Maybe they don't have pediatrics. Maybe they only do adults, or maybe they're serving an Amish community, and we don't really have Amish communities. So it's kind of cool to hear different kind of stories from people. So they do that for 8 weeks, and then they're on their own. It's very supportive. So if somebody feels like they're not ready to be on their own at 8 weeks, we can extend a little bit further to give them extra time. And so I think that's kind of the difference between hospital settings, right? You get your training, and then you're on your own.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
On your own. So with Bayada, we're very supportive. And so we are never going to let somebody provide care that doesn't feel safe providing care.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to support until they do feel safe. And our sign-offs would indicate if they would be safe to provide care to our clients independently.
Okay.
So,
Such a great point. Safe, and I'd go beyond that and say confident.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we hear a lot from nurses that share their experiences having been in the hospital or coming out of school. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel like I was providing the care that I could and that I wanted to.
Right. You have to be confident in the decisions that you make.
Oh gosh. Yeah, absolutely. It's to care for someone. Yeah, absolutely. You have to. And when you're in a one-to-one setting, that's one of the things we hear nurses ask, is do I have a team though? Do I have support in a hospital? I know I have. I can raise an alarm, and I have a whole team behind us.
Yeah.
And that's such a solid question. And the answer is yes, absolutely. Yep. There's always a team behind you, and beyond that, you're never in a situation. You're never in a situation where you're not with a client that's stable, and again, that you're not confident, 100% confident in the care you're providing. It's a good feeling to know you're moving through your calling and you're satisfying that passion to serve, and you're doing it in a way that you can end the day and go, yeah.
Very good. Well, real quick, tell us how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they need your services. And you have such a wide variety of services that definitely, there's a need out there.
Absolutely, yes. You can, we are a global, in fact, company. I think we spoke nationally, but on a national basis, but we are in 7.
I think
right
so.
now. I think 7 other countries. I believe it is now. It's amazing. And you can find us online, bayada.com. And then, multiple. I get all excited. Multiple areas I'd love you to check out. We have a careers page. Anyone that's interested in checking out any career with Bayada across the board, 100 different options in nursing and caregiving, multiple programs, again, investments, scholarship programs to assist caregiving to advance to LPN program, move from your LPN to your RN, and so on, that I would love for folks to check out if they're interested, anyone interested in nursing, caregiving and nursing. Check out our career page, and you can find that at bayada.com. And you can also, on that page, consumer side, client side, across the spectrum of services. You can check out Arizona specifically, each of the services that are offered here, and give us a call. call. Just pick
right.
up the phone.
Cool, perfect.
Or
what's the number locally here?
520-885-5100.
All right.
That'll ring straight through. We're answered 24/7. We're a small office. You're always going to talk to somebody live. There's no queue to wait in.
Okay.
So any questions, we would absolutely love to
perfect.
answer.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
All right. That's another episode of Southwest Flavor. Join us every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock. We'll see you later this week on Thursday.